God gotta make a blacksmith that's not scared to use that hammer. Work on the man. Work on the woman. Work on the man. Work on the woman. Work on the man. Work on the woman. And then when you're done, God look at you and see how beautiful, how wonderful, that you made.
Continues for one Prince George's County police officer caught on camera and in uniform getting cozy with a woman before slipping into the back seat of his cruiser. Now, this all happened in the middle of the day at a park just feet from where children were playing. Fox 5's Bob Barnard is live this morning in Oxon Hill with a story that has gained national attention. Bob.
Yeah, it sure has, Marissa. We are at South Lawn Neighborhood Park here in Oxon Hill, not far from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. This incident happened on Monday in this park while there were children here. It was recorded and shared on TikTok, eventually on Twitter. We can show you the video. This was obviously during the day. The officer there in uniform, not sure if he was on duty, but his name is Francesco Marlette. He has been suspended because Prince George's County Police have seen this video, shared something like 3 million times on social media. Police have launched an internal affairs investigation. They have suspended the officer. A woman who says she is the officer's wife has posted on Facebook that this is not a stranger, this woman, but his mistress, and that she's gotten a lot of love from people who've seen the video like she has, and is upset not only for herself, but for her children, the officer's wife. We had a chance to ask the state's attorney here in Prince George's County, Aisha Braveboy, whether this behavior, which again is the subject of a police investigation, could rise to the level of a crime.
First of all, I would like to say, first of all, man, what is going on with these people? You know, the world is going through a whole turmoil. They going upside down. They flipping their own wigs, and we not understanding what's going on, and we're not paying attention. We more trying to fit in and get in where we fit in, instead of just trying to look into these certain matters, like this situation here with the cop and him having his mistress, so to speak, to come have sex with him at the job. I mean, what is we doing here? I mean, people, what is going on? Are we really losing our minds here? And we have people in leadership doing these type of things, and we're not really looking into the matter as we should. We have to look at our leadership. We have to be mission-minded. That is the theme, and that's probably going to be the title of this video. We have to be mission-minded, and we have to look into these matters on why and who and what and where and how and when, and until we dig deep, because a lot of people like to say, oh, well, I don't like to dig deep in these in certain things, but at the same time, if you don't go inside a situation and look into it, then how are you going to help and serve the people? How can you be a help to a people if you're not being a discerner of what's going on in this world? Why is this country, why is people in religion is running away from the church, the so-called church that we call church, right? Why are they running away from the faith, period? Why we have people in leadership and we ordain these people in leadership or in power positions, more say, in power positions. They have the power to make changes, and they really don't, you know. So what are we talking about here? What's really the mission and the mode You know, we can't be laying back thinking that everything is all right if everything is all right at home. Your home can be perfectly fine. Your marriage can be perfectly fine. But meanwhile, the world and people around you are going through it and going through some things. And there's going to be a time in your life where you're going to have to look at it and say, do I need to be around this person? Do I need to keep doing this type of thing? Am I wasting my time in things that's not of the Lord, but in things that's of the world, and having the affairs of life, me concerned the affairs of life, dragging me away from the faith? This life can drag you away from the faith if you're not careful. And that's just facts. Let's keep it moving.
Thousands more missing after entire neighborhoods were swept out to sea. Molly Hunter now on the desperate search.
Tonight, the Libyan Navy pulling bodies out of the sea, struggling against the surf in the coastal city of Derna. Late today, helicopters joining the recovery effort. The massive flooding in eastern Libya has claimed more than 8,000 lives, according to Libyan authorities. The exact toll unclear, an additional 10,000 people still missing. This man shouting, "My sister," her sons, her daughter, and granddaughter. 11 people in his family, all dead, he says. Disaster in every sense of the word. Over the weekend, Storm Daniel brought 9 months of rain in just 6 hours, bursting through 2 dams. Satellite images show the coastline before and after. Drone footage captures the scale. 1/3 of Derna wiped out. This resident saying bodies have been buried in mass graves. The cemeteries are all full. This man in neighboring Egypt, distraught. He lost 4 members of his family. Humanitarian aid now coming into the country too slowly, and years of chaos, division, and war have left the country vulnerable. Tonight, the UN says more than 30,000 people have been displaced from their homes. Molly Hunter, NBC News.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
So again, and these are the type of things that's been going on. See, now a lot of these videos that I'm going to be showing y'all, some are going to be old, some going to be new, some you're going to recognize. But the main purpose is to give you the message, you know, show you what's going on around the world and what to look out for. Okay, as for now, you know, all the events that's been happening this year alone, and I'm not even gonna get into the certain events that came about, but I will say this year is going to be the year where either you're going to take heed into what's said, or you're going to let your own personal affairs in life just example, if you're going to allow your life to dictate how you feel about what's going on in this world, you're going to be lost. Because at the end of the day, it's not about your life. It's a mission to be made, and there is an agenda that we need to uphold. Because we have to remember, if we are the body of Christ, God sent his disciples on a mission. See, his disciples and his apostles was not just walking around tapping people on the shoulder and saying, you need the word of God. That's not how it happened. whatever God called you to do, and wherever you at in life with God, you must know what your gifts are. You must know the mission. What is the mission? Because when it becomes God's mission, you submit your life to Christ. And again, things are happening in this world. Prophecies are happening in this world. And if we're not careful, and if you're not careful, you're going to be left behind, and sorry to say.
Out of the sea, struggling against the surf in the coastal city of Derna. Late today, helicopters joining the recovery effort. The massive flooding in eastern Libya has claimed more than 8,000 lives, according to Libyan authorities. The exact toll unclear, an additional 10,000 people still missing. This man shouting, "My sister," her sons, her daughter, and granddaughter. 11 people in his family, all dead, he says. Disaster in every sense of the word. Over the weekend, Storm Daniel brought 9 months of rain in just 6 hours, bursting through 2 dams. Satellite images showed the coastline before and after. Drone footage captures the scale. 1/3 of Derna wiped out. This resident saying bodies have been buried in mass graves. The cemeteries are all full. This man in neighboring Egypt, distraught. He lost 4 members of his family. Humanitarian aid now coming into the country too slowly, and years of chaos, division, and war have left the country vulnerable. Tonight, the UN says more than 30,000 people have been displaced from their homes.
Hey.
And it's crazy. It's crazy that these things are happening and people are still, they just look right past it and like nothing is going on. But, you know, it is what it is. This is what happens.
The rubble in a furious search for survivors. The area's strongest earthquake in more than a century has killed nearly 3,000, with thousands more injured. But those numbers are expected to rise in the hours and days ahead. The destruction and devastation are beyond words, with at least 100,000 children impacted by the disaster, and that's according to UNICEF. The epicenter of the 6.8 quake is located in the country's high Atlas Mountains, where buildings crumbled and left communities cut off from the outside world. Villagers are digging by hand or shovels because getting heavy equipment into these remote areas has been nearly impossible. International aid groups, including specially trained dogs, have joined local rescue efforts. We have a lot of news to bring you, and CBS's Chris Livesay will start us off tonight from the village of Moulay Ramin. Good evening, Chris.
Well, again, these have been events that have been going on in the past year. In these spontaneous places. Matter of fact, more places that are more religious, because the people that's over in Saudi Arabia, Israel, even Africa, China, Europe, your islands, South America, you know, Hawaii, these places are very, very, very religious. And you notice I didn't mention America, because America is a melting pot of, it's more like ancient Egypt. This is what America is, ancient Egypt. Matter of fact, it's probably worse than Jerusalem, the Jerusalem that's over there now, with where you have all your religions come together and pray in one spot, and they think they serve one God. That's what America is. That's exactly what America has became. And this is not a Christian nation at all. You have a president by the name of President Biden that is a Catholic, a Jesuit. And if you do your research on Jesuits and Catholics and Catholicism, then you get the idea. Then on top of that, you have Kamala Harris, which is not black. Again, she is Hindu. Her roots and her culture is Hinduism. So you have a Roman Catholic or a Jesuit Catholic or whatever, same thing, and a Buddhist or a Hinduist that's in office running a country. But yet, we call this a Christian nation. Now go figure that out. Figure that one out. Let me see, go back. Come on. There you go.
Unbelievable video. We'll slow it down to show you just how bold these suspects are. The young man without a shirt goes for the uniformed Detroit police officer's gun on his right side. He gets it. Meanwhile, his accomplice in the Adidas pants pulls a gun, pointing it at the officer. There's a struggle. The officer wrestles his duty weapon, a 9mm, back from the suspect. The two run off. The officer does not shoot at them.
This is just a ridiculous crime.
Detroit Police Commander Arnold Williams says it happened Saturday evening at the BP station near the Southfield and Joy Road. There's nothing to indicate that this officer, who was off duty heading into work, was targeted specifically. Investigators say it was all about getting the gun.
There's no way I can explain the mindset of someone who would do something like that, but the one thing I can explain is if they would do that to a uniformed police officer, can you imagine what they would do to a regular citizen?
Investigators have identified both suspects. They've executed 2 search warrants at their homes and are in contact with their parents. But still, as of Monday afternoon, they're not in police custody.
If it's any family members that are sheltering them or have any information, encourage them to come in, and we want them to turn themselves.
So, let me just pause this one right here. This is our youth, right? Let me put this up. So this is our youth, and I can only imagine, maybe I can't imagine what they're going through in life, because a lot of these children, me coming to find out, and I'm living in an area where there's not really poverty. Of course, you're gonna have people that's struggling. That's in every city, state, community. Different levels of trials and tribulations, right? But to be honest, a lot of these children really not living in poverty. These children walking around with $1,000 phones, iPhones, right? Walking around with $300 sneakers, $200 jeans. They're getting their hair done, you know, they gotta spend money on that. So it's not like, and some of them are driving. So don't hand me his poverty, and don't hand me that, because the way I look at it is either you gonna do right or you gonna do wrong. Either you gonna get right or get left. This is our generation. This is what you call culture. There's too many influences. You have rappers that's influencing this type of lifestyle. Then you have games, yeah, Grand Theft Auto. I saw the new one that just came out, and I'm like, wow, look how games even changed. I was almost shocked. In fact, that type of game, when I was coming up, that would probably be my favorite game. And it had nothing to do with the filth. Well, maybe it did. Stop lying. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto is filthy. That's probably the worst game besides Call of Duty and it's just, you got demonic games, Diablo, Assassin's Creed, God of War, those type of games. And people don't take that seriously. People think a person is like just trying to hold them back from having fun, or they being a party pooper. But when you actually dig down deep and just look at it from the outside, because believe you me, I was there. I was there. I was there. And trust me, believe you me, you can get pulled into a lot of stuff. Actually, it starts there. When you're a child and you're innocent. For me, when I was coming up, I didn't have the luxuries that these children had. I didn't have internet on my phone when I turned 13. And even if I did wanted a phone, I had to have my own job. I had to have my own situation. My mom wasn't paying for nothing. Please believe. But these children right here, they live in a luxury. There's nothing wrong with them. They just being influenced by what they see. And once we take them away from that and what they see, because social media is a trip. Social media is one of the reasons why people have lost their minds, doing things that's unseemly to nature or to their own character. You have people that completely change their whole character because of social media. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
And smiling and laughing.
Pictures and happy memories. That's all neighbors have of 16-month-old Jailene Calendario.
I absolutely loved her. She was like a little sister to me.
Sulem and her mom Iris didn't want to show their faces. They said the first time they met Jailene was last August. They were supposed to watch her only a few days, but they said her mom didn't return for a month and a half.
I was the one calling her, look, I need milk, I need money, I don't have no money to buy milk for you, baby, what am I supposed to do?
Fast forward to this month, and Cristel Calendario is charged with her daughter Jailene's murder. Court documents show the 31-year-old admitted to leaving her baby home alone June 8th while she went on vacation to Puerto Rico and Detroit. When Calendario returned home 8 days later, police say she found Jailene unresponsive.
We were absolutely heartbroken. We loved Jailene a lot.
Iris and Sulem wish Calendario would have asked them to watch Jailene.
I wish for her to pay what she did to her daughter.
Instead, they're left with an investigation and reminders of Jailene's many visits.
Jailene really didn't deserve what happened to her. She was amazing and really adorable. And
another example of why social media is, I blame a lot on social media. Of course, the devil is behind social media. Of course, the devil is the prince of the air. We all understand that. So let's not get it twisted, right? What I'm saying is, the people that's on social media are influencers. So why would this lady that has an infant, this is the thing, and I can only imagine why she did it. And she did it because, number one, maybe she was tired of being a single mother, if she's a single mother, and evidently she was a single mother, because if she wasn't a single mother, she would be that child would be with the father, and for some reason that father is not in that child's life because of whatever the mom and the father had going on, and they didn't come to a conclusion. So the conclusion was for both of them going their separate ways, him being a deadbeat and her being a single parent, and that played a part. Maybe she had lack of support. Okay, you can't say she didn't have money because she went on the whole trip. So she had a couple hours to spare. All right, so tell me what could have been the cause. Now, of course, you can lay it on the line and say it was selfishness, because yes, it was selfishness. That's very selfishness. But what's the cause? I can tell you the cause. It's social media. Because I guarantee you, she didn't have social media. If she wasn't scrolling through her TikTok and her Instagram or her Facebook, looking at how everybody's living their life, how everybody is going on trips, how everybody is buying this and buying that, and all the events these people are going to, you know, at some point that lady got tired of seeing it and said, hey, I want to enjoy myself, I want to party, but I don't have a babysitter. The hell with it. I'm going to go and enjoy my life, leave my baby here unattended, let nobody know. And it's wild. This is what social media does. And not even just social media, you have the celebrities. The celebrities also play a part. They big influencers. This is what they do. You understand? So you gotta look at it from all angles, and this is why you have to be mission minded, and this is the mission that we're on. And
that was the case here, but they got it done.
27 years after rapper Tupac Shakur was shot to death in a car in Las Vegas, a man who confessed to his involvement in the crime is behind bars.
Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
Filmmaker Mike Dorsey predicted an arrest on Law and Crime nearly 2 months ago.
I think that they are going to close this case. I think that there is very likely going to be an indictment.
Thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. I'm Anjanette Levy. Las Vegas Metro Police took Dwayne Keefe D. Davis into custody Friday. He's being held on charges related to the 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Las Vegas Metro Police searched Davis's home in Henderson, Nevada in July.
The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. We have a search warrant for the resident. You need to come out with your hands up and your hands in.
At the same time, a grand jury was investigating Tupac's murder. Tupac Shakur was shot as he was riding in a car driven by Suge Knight one night in September 1996. Tupac had gotten into a fight with a man named Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand during a Mike Tyson fight. The shooting of Shakur was believed to be retaliation for the fight. Keefe D later confessed that he gave Anderson, who was his nephew, the gun to shoot Tupac Shakur. He made the statement in a proffer to police, but the statement could not be used against him in court. Years later, Keefe D admitted his involvement in Tupac's murder in his book, Compton Street Legend. Many view the book as a confession. Keefe D wrote about that night, "I pulled out the Glock that Zip had given me and tossed it in the back seat. Bubble Up did the driving, Baby Lane and Freaky were riding in the back. Like two rams locking horns, Suge and I looked each other dead in the eye. The terrified expression on Suge's face read, 'Damn them N-words.'" He goes on to write, "One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back." Tupac Shakur died days later, and his murder would remain unsolved for years. Orlando Anderson was shot to death the next year. Filmmaker Mike Dorsey worked with retired LAPD detective Greg Kading on the documentary Murder Rap, which looked at Kading's investigation into the murders of Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur. I spoke with Dorsey about the news that Dwayne Keefe D. Davis had been taken into custody.
Well, this has been, for me, kind of a 10-year journey since we put out our doc, Murder Rap, which was the first documentary that put out his taped confession that his crew did this. And my reaction is that this has just been a very long time coming, and very, very, it's just an exciting day to finally have this. We didn't think this was going to happen at a certain point. It just seemed like so much time had gone by. You started to wonder, is it really going to happen or not? But the wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes, and that was the case here, but they got it done.
You said that you thought an indictment would be coming, but now you're saying you didn't think this would ever happen. So
Sure.
Do you feel like it was taking too long? Because we had heard some rumblings that a grand jury was looking at this.
I'll just say, initially we had heard that it was going to happen very quickly, It seemed like an indictment was, 6 weeks ago, an indictment was like happening, and then nothing. And we heard the grand jury was convening, and it was very airtight. They're not telling us anything. They aren't telling the public anything. So you do start to wonder after weeks and weeks go by if they're really going to pull it off or not.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? What kind of witnesses do you think they have? Because everybody else that was in that vehicle that night is dead.
Sure.
Well, these are one of the investigations that I was actually wondering about, and everybody and their mama, when I was coming up, Tupac was one of the biggest artists, well, probably the biggest artist of our time, especially when I was coming up. So Tupac, he is a legend. I can honestly say that he's probably one of the reasons why I was started in music, and one of the reasons why I'm still doing music, and music blossomed to other ventures and things of that nature, which is a good thing. But this investigation with Tupac Shakur has been something that people have always been wondering about, and everybody speculated this and speculated that, but this guy coming out and telling what happened is very telling to me. The fact that Orlando Brown got gunned down not too long after that, it raises more questions than answers. Was this a hit? Was this a setup? Was this what was it? You understand? People speculated Suge Knight had something to do with it, and nobody really knows, to be honest with you. Everybody can speculate what they want to speculate, but nobody really knows, and until the truth comes out. And believe you me, everything hasn't been said yet. All the facts hasn't been given yet. So until all the facts have been given, then we can sit there and still speculate. Now we know who did the killing, right? We just don't know why or who was behind it. Now people say P. Diddy was behind it, and my speculation is probably he was. I mean, for me, what is the reason why he wouldn't be a part of it? Why wouldn't he not be a part of this whole scandal? Because Biggie gets knocked off the next year. You have a security guard that was P. Diddy's security guard, and he comes out and say all these allegations. I'm not going to say it, but go look up his bodyguard. And the fact that Tupac got shot the first time, Puffy was there. Biggie gets shot, Puffy was there. Why everybody getting shot behind Puff Daddy? It's just questions that needs to be answered, and questions that need to be raised. And this is one of the reasons why we must be mission-minded. Because in that same tongue that I'm speaking, you have pastors and that's joining in with the entertainers. These pastors want to be entertainers. They don't want to be pastors. They want to be entertainers. They're no longer being mission-minded. And if they supposed to be in their faith, they're only in their cliques. If you're not in their clique, then you're not it. You're not part of their squad, then you're odd. That's just the way it goes. I've been there. I've seen it head first, hand first. What are we talking about? So at the end of the day, excuse me, at the end of the day, it's a sad thing that, Tupac, for me, I know he probably wasn't 100% Christian or whatever. He was screaming Muslim and stuff like that. But hey, when God calls, he calls. When you've been given the opportunity to serve him 100% and you wind up going the other direction, seeing the doors that you've been presented, and you go through those doors, then you're the reason, you're the cause of your own demise. You don't think these entertainers don't know that? You don't think these entertainers don't know that there are doors that there are offered, and if they go through those doors, there's consequences and repercussions. They're going to cause you to do things out of your character. Have you even noticed that when certain artists are brand new, and then for some reason, out of nowhere, they become this person that you can't recognize no more? Michael Jackson. Seemed like he was cool, but soon as the industry got a hold of him, what happened? We're gonna talk about that a little bit more because we got a lot to talk about. And this is deep, so pay attention.
Sandra and Joe are off tonight, and we begin with new information on a tragic story that unfolded in a Bronx daycare. One child died yesterday. 3 others were hospitalized after cops say they somehow came into contact with opioids. Nicholas Dominici was just 1 year old and had been attending the daycare for only about a week before his family dropped him off yesterday, never to see him alive again. Right now, investigators are questioning 2 people, including the daycare owner. Eyewitness News reporter Johnny Fernandez spoke with the victim's father today.
I love him, I miss him, I want him back. But there's nothing that will give me back my son.
Otoniel Feliz is emotional thinking about his 1-year-old son Nicholas, who started going to daycare just a week ago. With watery eyes and a heavy heart, he's mourning and processing how he lost his son at a place he assumed was safe.
My wife was on her way to the daycare. She was going to pick him up early. Shortly before she arrives, she receives the call and also sees an ambulance.
The scene at the Divino Niño daycare in the Bronx was chaos after first responders received a cardiac arrest call. Police say that the incident unfolded after the children ate and took a nap. 3 children were rushed to the hospital unconscious and unresponsive, and police later learned a 4th was sick earlier in the day. 3 of the children fought for their lives. 1-year-old Nicholas didn't make it.
We don't have a diagnosis. We don't have an answer to what happened.
Investigators worked into the night to determine what the children were exposed to at the daycare, one that has a good reputation. A reputation now coming into question after drug production equipment was discovered inside.
Which can, through either inhalation, ingestion, or in touching of the skin, intoxicate the recipient.
While the cause of death is still unanswered, Otoniel is now trying to process the guilt and the question on everyone's mind: why did this happen at a place deemed safe for children?
Because these people don't care. These people only is there for a paycheck. These people are only there to pay their bills and pay for their trips and things of that nature. People don't take their job seriously. No, people don't take their job seriously. Don't think for 1 minute that these people that's in these hospitals, these people that's our police officers, as we seen in the first video where he was, with his mistress, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you can't even trust these people that supposedly have these degrees and these special certificates. They supposed to be the smartest people in the world. They supposed to be understanding that they are dealing with real life and people that have life. These people ain't toys. These people ain't mannequins. These ain't people that you had when you was in school. These ain't mannequins or play toys or whatever. These are real people. And you playing with people's lives. And it's not cool. And it's not cool. It's not cool at all. And people gonna have to pay for that. People gonna have to pay for that. One way or another. Because at the end of the day, you know, that's somebody's child. How can you take it? Would you take care of your own child like that? I bet you they don't.
Ready for this? Madman, they thought I was crazy. They thought I was special.
I definitely have to say something about this weather. This weather has been crazy. This weather has been definitely crazy, y'all. It's a little hot in here. I want to turn the fan on, but I don't want it to hit the mic or whatever. But maybe because I got all these lights on me. That's what it is. It's these lights, man. It's these lights. Matter of fact, while I'm on that, I thank you guys for tuning in. And hopefully I can spend more time doing videos like this, having the lights, cameras, actions, doing the transitions, and having the commercials and all that stuff. I really want to implement that in my talks and things of that nature. So thank you for being patient. I gotta use everything that I have. The Lord gave me a gift, so I'm definitely going to use everything I have. I'm going to throw the whole arsenal at you. I'm going to throw the whole kitchen at you. You understand what I'm saying? I got the music. I got the videos. I got all this stuff. So I might as well use it all and use it all for the glory of God. And that's all I can that's all I can do. And that's all God asked for. You understand? So thank you for that. And, you know, yeah. So, but anyway. So like I was saying, this weather been crazy. And it seems like as I'm looking through the weather radar, it's coming through the middle. Like it's coming like up the middle. All the storms coming straight up the middle. And it's like it's coming straight from the sea. Like it's just forming from the sea. Like between Mexico and South America and Florida. So it's in that area and it's coming straight up. And it's been doing that for the past month. So if you want to talk about the signs and the times of the world, look at what's going on. Look at the look at the floods and look at the weather formations. It's hot right now in Atlanta, and we're in January. We still in winter. We on winter time. But yet we have we have people that's just completely just living their lives and doing whatever they want to do. And some people don't even understand weather. They don't even pay attention to weather. This is the type of stuff that we need to be looking for. The Lord said, what? Keep it. Look, if you want to discern the times, look at the heavens. Look at the stars. Look at the moon. Look at the sunlight. Since everybody want to be talking about, the universe. Okay, can you discern the universe? Because the signs is in the universe. The signs is in the stars. You ain't know that. I bet you know some of them stars were angels. I bet you didn't know that. See? You gotta be mission-minded. And in order to even say that, you gotta have insight. And in order to have insight, you have to read the word. And in order to read the word, you got to be called by God to be on this mission. And if you've been called and you've been lackadaisy, he gave you a talent, and you come back with nothing, that's your fault. That's your fault. No, that's nobody else's fault but your fault. Because God gave you the tools and the components and the plugins to make you to assist the Lord in his work. And people, for some reason, tend to care for themselves more than God. And that's what we have going on here. So don't be alarmed when you see things like this.
Looters target stores across Philadelphia. The chaos began last night in Center City and continued into other neighborhoods in the overnight hours. Today, police say 52 people are under arrest and more could be coming. It is Wednesday afternoon. I'm Brian Tapp.
And I'm Sarah Bloomquist. The big story on Action News is the ongoing investigation after dozens of stores were ransacked. Police saying the lawlessness is not related to an earlier peaceful protest over the case being dismissed in the fatal police shooting of Eddie Irizarry. Instead, investigators believe these people, nearly all of them adults, looking to take advantage of the situation.
Action News reporter Caroline Goggin live in Center City now with more on how officials are responding to all that chaos that's still evident today. Caroline.
Well, Brian and Sarah, those city officials we heard from today say they are just as frustrated as the people we heard from today here in Center City. The businesses that were hit last night, like the Apple store behind me, they remain closed today. And this afternoon, we know that dozens of people have been arrested, and police tell us they intend to hold everyone accountable.
It was a chaotic night in the city of Philadelphia. Looters ransacked stores in Center City. The Foot Locker on Chestnut, the Apple store on Walnut, and the Lululemon. But they didn't stop there. They also hit up the Roosevelt Mall and stores in West Philadelphia.
There's no need for it. There's no reason for it.
Police are now investigating a number of videos that were posted throughout the night on social media. Including these ones posted on Instagram. City officials say 52 people have been arrested, 49 adults and 3 juveniles.
We're going to seek the charges that apply based.
Patrols helped keep the peace overnight. It was a relatively calm evening in comparison to the chaos of Tuesday night when looting broke out across the city. But there were still some reports of break-ins as other businesses decided to just stay closed last night just in case. Catherine Scott has been following the looting investigations and the arrests related to it for us. She's live now in Center City. Good morning.
Good morning, Tam. And of course, the cleanup continues around the city today. And we're at one of the stores that was closed yesterday. Yesterday, all the state liquor stores in Philadelphia and one in Wyncote were closed after 18 fine wine and good spirit stores in Philadelphia were looted. It's unclear when the stores will reopen. The damage is still being assessed.
This is just very stupid. I don't know why they keep on doing it.
They're not accomplishing anything by doing this, you know, but they hurting their neighborhoods, they hurting the stores.
Free iPhones! Free iPhones! Police are now using this video for evidence. People swarming the Center City Apple store Tuesday night, grabbing phones and tablets and bolting. Police say that voice you hear belongs to 21-year-old Deja Blackwell, known as Meatball on social media. Behind the narration, live streaming the looting, amassing thousands more followers and broadcasting what stores and which locations to loot. Chaos started around 8 p.m.
So you have this woman by the name of Meatball. Meatball. You've been influenced by Meatball. Social media influencer Meatball. You let Meatball tell you meatheads to go down there and loot and get free iPhones. And this looting is not just in Philadelphia. This looting has been going on for the past 10 years. And nobody's doing nothing about it until somebody do something about it. They're going to get what they get. They're going to get exactly what they're going to get. And businesses is going to go down, and people going to be losing their jobs. Bad enough you have the industry creating robots to replace you. Now you're going to allow these bad kids with no home training. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I can't say. But these are corrupted kids and children. You're going to allow them to tear up your communities and take you out of work because they're going to get tired of keep paying for the property, repairing, rebuilding, and then rehiring. They're going to it's going to be to the point where everything is going to be modified by AI. And this same woman, after being caught by the police, she winds up going on going on social media and does this.
Thanks to everybody that, carry for me. Ain't nothing, never been nothing. I never been through nothing like that ever in my life. I don't even know what happened. Like, I need some sleep. I'm scared. I'm traumatized. Everybody screaming, welcome home. Now go bless your girl.
So this is what happens. That's what happened. And this is what happens. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Then I recently seen this same lady. She was in Gilly the Kids and Wallow's boxing event. So she's been treated like a celebrity after all of this commotion that she helped cause. I'm not gonna blame the whole thing, but she helped cause it. She's a social media influencer. She had a high position. I'm sorry. She had a high position. What you want me to say about that? We have to be mission-minded to discern these things. We just dealing with lower tier situations because it's going to level up. God willing, let me keep being productive and still have that fire and to do these type of things. We're going to have a conversation one-on-one, me and you, quite often. We're going to be doing documentaries and things of that nature. I got another YouTube page that I'm going to be putting out. Well, it's already out, but I'm going to help build that up and start putting my documentaries on that page and doing my podcasts and stuff like this on this page. And I got 3 YouTube pages. I got the Get Bucky and T video music page, which I may just start putting my videos on there, my music videos on there. But however, this is what's going on in the world, and if we don't take care of our situation, these little things that's in our face, if we don't take care of these things that's in our face, I don't know how we're going to survive when the real trouble comes.
Police outside Columbus, Ohio have released the body cam footage from a police shooting that killed a woman and her unborn child. And we first told you about this earlier in our newscast, but before rolling this clip, we want to warn you, the video is graphic.
Out of the car. Out of the car.
7 back in service, 1828.
Get out of the then get out. No, then get out. Yeah. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Shots fired. Shots fired. Stop.
The video shows 21-year-old Takia Young in her car. Police confronted her in the parking lot of a grocery store where she allegedly took bottles of alcohol without paying. According to police, she ignored orders to get out and edge the car forward. That's when an officer who'd been standing in front of the vehicle opened fire. An attorney hired by Young's family says the shooting is unjustified.
Well, of course it's unjustified to me. I don't think that young lady needed to lose her life in that situation. I think you could have used other means than shooting this young lady. And this has been a thing for years with cops shooting pedestrians, particularly black people. Now, I don't see the reason why you would I don't see the reason why would you shoot a pregnant lady. I mean, what can she really do? You know what I'm saying? What can a pregnant lady really do to you, even if she is in the car? Because of it, obviously she's not gonna intentionally kill a baby, but I guess in that situation, due to what's been history, I would think that she would think that she didn't have to use those other means to get away from the cops, because she could have just surrendered. Now, I don't know what she was doing. Maybe she was on parole. Maybe she didn't want to go to jail with a baby in her stomach, and that could have probably been a situation. But I think if you're a person of authority, I think you gotta use better judgment than that. She had a car, you had a gun. If I had to pick, I'd rather have the car than have the gun than the car. That's just me. So you really had the power, because it only takes a second to shoot somebody and neutralize them. It only takes a second. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they was doing. I don't know what they was thinking, but I think they used poor judgment, and that's just my analysis on the whole situation. So God bless to her and her family, and I don't know, man. This is wild.
People work as hard for their money, and I don't think that it's okay for you just to demand free things.
At the Premier Nail Supply store in Marietta, things are back to normal Wednesday night. But at the lunch hour, September 19th, the owner says 2 female suspects came into the store appearing to want to buy supplies. When it came time to pay, they instead ran out, carrying about $600 in merchandise. Inside the store are numerous surveillance cameras. The owner shared the footage exclusively with Fox 11. You can see the cashier and the owner, dressed in blue, chasing after the alleged robbers. But it went from bad to worse. One of the suspects returned to the store when she realized she left behind her phone, which included a driver's license. She aggressively demanded the phone back. The owner and clerk said, if you return the items, we'll give you your phone back. No questions asked. Then it got really ugly. Instead, the alleged female robber gets violent, throwing the owner to the ground and roughing up the cashier, who is pregnant. Granted, robbing a nail supply store isn't exactly an Einstein move, but forgetting your phone and coming back for it, even worse. The people we spoke to here today expressed concern for the owner.
And when people just come in and steal from...
You know, this is another case of what I was talking about. You know, what was the purpose? What is the reasoning of you doing that? You understand what I'm saying? Cosmetics. It really can't be just about cosmetics. Maybe you was going to steal them. Again, I heard of stuff like this happening, but I never heard it to this level and to this extent, where you have just children 14, 15, 16 years old, just without any care in the world, just going into somebody's property and taking from their store. I never heard that before. Not like this. Not like this. I've even seen videos where kids just walk into a stranger's house and sit on their couch, and they don't do anything. The person don't do nothing to them. They just let them sit in their couch. They don't beat them. They don't beat them up. They don't slap them. They don't do anything. What part of the game is this? But this is the type of world that we living in, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but what you want me to do?
Thousands of rockets launched from Gaza into Israel sent millions of Israelis running to shelters off and on throughout the day. Adele Reamer, a resident of Kibbutz Nirim near the Gaza border, describes what happened.
After at least 7 hours of being locked down in our safe rooms, the IDF finally arrived and started going through the kibbutz, house by house, bush by bush. They have to clear everything out.
At a party in the forest near Gaza, Hamas gunmen on motorcycles opened fire in all directions. Several dozen Israelis were taken hostage and brought to Gaza, including women and young children. A spokesman for the Islamist Hamas movement said the Israelis are being hidden in underground tunnels inside Gaza. A Hamas spokesman said the attack was in response to what it called the desecration of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and an increase in Jewish settler attacks on Palestinians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Hamas that it will pay a price.
Since the morning, Israel has been at war. Our first goal is to clean the area from those who have infiltrated it and to return security and quiet to the areas that were attacked. The second goal, at the same time, is to exact a huge price from the enemy.
This has been a war that's been going on for the past 3 months. Actually, it's been probably a war that's been going on and off secretly, but who knows? But what I will say is people better be careful about talking about Israel and attacking Israel. Now, I understand the United States are antagonizers and we are opportunists. Yes, we're opportunists, but at the same time, and in the meantime, we gotta understand that this is not God's nation. This is not his idea of his people. And it's getting very, very close to the point where prophecies is gonna heighten, and you're gonna see crazy changes that you have never even thought of. So I advise people to not talk about Israel in a bad way, because Israel, Jerusalem, is still God's firstborn. Israel, Judah, the Hebrew land, that's still part of his plan. And I'll be very, very, very careful. Now, for people that don't understand who Jews are and don't know the difference between Jews and Jewish people, I'm not even going to get into that. The fact that it's Jews and then you got Jewish, it's enough to say, wait a minute, what's the difference? But we have lack of discernment and a lack of discerners. So it is what it is. And just be careful. But I think this thing over there in Israel, and between Israel and Hamas, is going to, if it don't quiet down, it's going to get much, much worse. And many, 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 many more lives going to be lost. And there's going to be rough days ahead for everybody. I'll tell you that for sure.
The Biden administration accountable to the laws that exist on the books in the United States of America.
Walk us through a typical day at the border. So you have different categories of persons, I gather. You have some who are, for example, going through the CBP-1 process, who are looking to apply for asylum. There are others who are just brazenly crossing the border without regard for that process. Talk to us about what that looks like and these different categories of individuals.
So let's do a little compare and contrast. What does a typical day look like in New York City with regard to the migration process? And it is completely different than what we are dealing with every single day on the border. We have in any one particular location, thousands of people crossing the border in a mad rush type of way. You have people who are dropped off on buses at city centers, may be connected to non-governmental organizations, things like that. We have people who are being pushed across the border by the cartels, by the thousands, into small little communities, completely disrupted. One thing that happens is once they get across the border, we have one thing that does not take place in New York. They're called bailouts. The people who get across the border, there are smugglers on the Texas side of the border who pick them up, put them in cars, and then are driving at a racing speed to get to the next location in the delivery process. And we have Texas Department of Public Safety officers that are pursuing them and at a dangerous speed, 80, 90, 100 miles per hour car chases. And the smugglers know if we capture the smugglers, they're going to be arrested and put behind bars for 10 years or longer. And so
sorry about all that, but anyway, as we was getting ourselves together, that was a little weird. Had to fix the light and everything else, but anyway, yeah, with this migrant situation, it's pretty tough to talk about because, again, you're dealing with children, you're dealing with marriages, you're dealing with people's lives and people's destinations. Now, it's a touchy subject. But what I will say is you have to go with the law. I mean, if the law says you have to get a passport or an ID, a certain ID, or you got to pay a certain fee to do this and do that, then it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. But at the same time, we're not going to just let anybody in our country, because I look at it like this. If I got to get a passport just to come into your country, then what makes you think that, matter of fact, not just a passport, just proper ID, period. Your ID, period, your state ID, your social security, your birth certificate, and all that stuff. If I want to come live in your country, I got to show proof of all that. Y'all not coming over here just for a vacation. Y'all coming over here to live. So if I was to come over there to live, I would have to get proper identification. You're going to have proper identification. And the problem is, a lot of those people that's coming from these, trying to migrate here, wherever they coming from, they don't have proper ID there. So if you don't have proper ID there, what makes you think you can come over here with no proper ID? Because you're going to need proper ID to get proper ID. I'm just saying, man, I don't make the rules, but we're going to let them keep talking.
If this administration decided to make a sharp course correction.
Yeah. So this is not a theoretical question. This is a question that we've actually lived, because this is exactly what we did under the Trump administration. And that is, under the Trump administration, we didn't have to go through all of these scenarios and jump through these hoops that we're jumping through now. When the Trump administration was in office, they applied the law that exists already in the United States, and they ended the catch and release, and they enforced it. If someone came across the border and they were caught, they were going to be repatriated or sent back to the country from which they came. So at that time, the state of Texas was involved, but in much lesser way, where at that time we would be involved in the apprehension game. And anybody that we apprehended, we were turned over to the Border Patrol. And at that time, the Border Patrol would be involved in the process of sending people back to the country from which they came. Now, under the Biden administration, if we apprehend somebody and turn them over to the Border Patrol is going to give them a notice to appear, which is known as a notice to disappear. And if they get a notice to appear, it means they have to show up for their asylum hearing, some of which are put off for 3 or 4 years. And something like 90% of the people who get these notices to appear never show up. And they disappear in the United States of America. So it is extraordinarily easy for a state, Texas or some other state, to collaborate with the Border Patrol, with the federal administration, when the federal administration is enforcing the rule of law. When they are abandoning the rule of law, we cannot cooperate with them when we will not be an accomplice to that. Instead, we have to alter our strategies so that we, the state of Texas, are using every tool that we can to enforce the rule of law in Texas and in the United States.
There have been many claims made about Operation Lone Star and specifically the busing operations that have helped relieve some of that pressure on border communities in Texas. One of the arguments you hear from public officials here in New York State, Chicago, Philadelphia, and other cities is that essentially this is something that has been chaotic, where there has not been meaningful coordination between public officials in Texas and in these various jurisdictions. I wonder if you could talk to us a bit about the initial rationale and also about how you have endeavored to ensure that these transports are safe and orderly.
Sure. So first of all, we need to understand what is truly chaotic. Again, what's going on in New York, I know is not maybe the common circumstance or what you were looking for, but what is going on in New York is calm and organized compared to the real chaos of what we see on the border, not every day, but every hour of every day. We don't get any notice about who's coming across when or where or how many. And we don't have the Biden administration saying, oh, okay, we're going to have...
Well, at the end of the day, man, it doesn't even matter because y'all letting these people in and y'all not doing anything really major about it. You're leaving these people in these places where they're being migrated and not... you're not giving them assistance, you know, and rightfully so, I believe. I mean, they forcing their way in. This is showing y'all power. This is really what it's doing. It's showing y'all's power. It's showing y'all pull. I mean, are you really for the people? Because you can't be for the people if you can't control your borders. Is it that you can't control your borders or you don't want to control our borders? Which one is it? It can't be both. It really can't be both. So this is where you have to discern. Is your country for you or against you? Because if you're going to let people that doesn't have proper ID, that probably are killers and murderers in their own way, we don't know these people. So you let them cross over with nothing and they're allowed to get the same services we get with nothing. But if I go to their country, I couldn't even get in without proper ID. I'm just saying, man, it is what it is, man. This is our country.
Sexual assault of a child. According to official documents, Robert L. Carter repeatedly raped a young family member, even impregnating her.
Tonight, her father is speaking only to our Devin Clark, who is live outside of HPD headquarters with further details. Devin.
I gotta tell you, this warrant states that the rapes started when this girl was just 7 years old and lasted well into her late teens, happening at least 600 times with a felony charge now filed. The alleged victim's father is speaking out, but we do want to warn you, what you're about to hear may be extremely disturbing.
She had been around this monster since she was about 6 years old.
This man asked not to be identified as to protect his daughter's identity. That isn't stopping him from speaking out about this man, 39-year-old Robert L. Carter, who he says was a family member to his daughter.
He's always been big to her, you know, and I had realized that she'd been fearful.
The man whose profile on the Black Preachers Network website has him listed as a bishop and senior pastor is now an accused rapist.
I don't understand, you know, how you can carry yourself, walk around preaching the word and living, you know, alive.
According to Carter's arrest warrant filed last month, the abuse began back in 2008 when the victim was 7 years old. It states he would go in her room and make her perform a sex act on him on a nightly basis.
How? Like, how could you even get aroused? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
The warrant states the abuse got worse over the years and that it would happen in multiple locations, including their home when everyone was asleep, Carter's grandmother's home, and behind an H-E-B in the parking lot before dropping the victim off at school. The document also states that Carter would bring the victim here to the Greater Bible Way Church in Sunnyside, where he had an office, and rape her.
She's had an episode where she ended up in the hospital, you know, for psychiatric reasons.
The warrant states she secretly had Carter's baby.
What if she would have died that night? She has a baby in the closet by herself. And he came and got the baby and took the baby to a fire station and dropped the baby off.
With many questions, we went to Carter's address listed on the warrant. But no one seemed to be home, so we called him.
The person you are calling is not available. Record your message at the tone.
No answer. While the warrant has been filed, we understand that Carter has not.
Of course he's not going to answer. I mean, what you think he's going to do? I mean, first of all, he's feeling embarrassed that he's a pastor, mission-minded. Now, this is not the only pastor that does this, but he, in his case, he's probably one of the worst. 7 years old, molesting this child, messing with her mind. She's gonna be just traumatized for the rest of her life. Where's the parents? Where's the mother? Where's the grandmother? Where's the grandpa? Where's the uncle? Where's the nephews? Where are the cousins at? Where are they at? How does this go on and nobody notices it? Nobody's seen anything? And it's a shame it's coming from the pulpit. These are your pastors. There's some that's doing things on different levels, but messing with a child, I think that's uncalled for. And you're messing with fire.
Able to speak to the 13-year-old's mother who came down to the scene here behind me. She wanted to see with her very own eyes where her son was shot and killed. Of course, she's heartbroken and she's grappling with the details that were released by DC police today. This grieving mother arrived at the scene where police say her 13-year-old son was shot and killed Saturday night after he attempted to carjack a man on D Street Northwest.
Engine 2 Medic 2, EMS 6 respond for person shot outside 601 D Street Northwest. Be advised, stage nearby, MPD's with.
My bad, y'all. But
let's go see what's inside the box.
Nevertheless, this is wild. Like, how does this happen? How does two teens try to carjack a police officer? Like, how does this happen? What is going through y'all minds? Y'all do the most dumbest things, and it's all for clicks and likes. And you know what? These same people, these same kids, go on social media, brag about what they just did, and then when they get caught, they're like, "Well, I ain't do anything." Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
At the Turnpike now, where a police chase seems to be coming to an end. So I want to bring your focus right now. This is the Turnpike heading northbound. At last check, this was around Northwest 74th Street. But focus in on that U-Haul van you see right there. So we understand that there was a possible assault on an officer and that this van was stolen, and then a chase ensued on the Turnpike heading northbound. We understand there could be several people inside this U-Haul. The tire of that U-Haul van has blown out, and even despite that, it looks like it is still trying to get away, now crashing into an FHP cruiser.
These people are crazy. These people are losing their everlasting mind, and I don't even know the whole story about it, but the fact that it comes to this, it really comes to this, and this is going to be the end of your road. You're going to be in jail. That's not a way to go. Not a way to go.
Kurtulsanız vicdan azabından kurtulamayacaksınız. Vicdan azabından kurtulsanız tarihin azabından kurtulamayacaksınız. Tarihin azabından kurtulsanız Allah'ın gazabından kurtulamayacaksınız. Hepinizi saygıyla selamlıyorum.
And that's what happens when you mock God. This is what happens when you're trying to play God. And you really don't want to play God like that. There's going to be many more people dying like that in front of our faces mocking God. Please believe that. Please believe that.
תראו, יורים באנשים, תראו. תראו לסרוטים. תראו, אנשים מקבלים יריות.
Unfortunately, again, these people gotta deal with what they gotta deal with. And these are some of the things that God is warning you about now. Place is gonna become very desolate. There gonna be no more countries. There gonna be no more historical sites. It's going to be pretty much dead in some countries. They never going to recover. These countries ain't going to never recover, especially mentally. After seeing all this stuff, Israel and Hamas, they're not going to recover. It's going to be hard. How can you recover? After saying, how? Family members being blown up, houses being destroyed, cattle, pets, children, everything that you work for, how can you recover?
Story. America's most prominent pastor, T.D. Jakes, began trending on the internet today, that is the 21st of December, after a TikToker made certain shocking claims regarding the Christian preacher. A TikTok video from a user calling herself Maeshia surfaced on Twitter, alleging that the R&B singer Casey Ventura, the ex-girlfriend of P. Diddy, has supposedly handed over evidence to the FBI incriminating Diddy a month after she filed a lawsuit accusing him of heinous acts of violence during their decade-long relationship. In the video, the TikToker then went on to claim that there was also an email that incriminated Diddy's close friend, Pastor T.D. Jakes, who allegedly slept with multiple men at the soirees. You know, those evening private parties at Diddy's residency. Maeshia also played a clip of an unknown man alleging that Casey had turned over those tapes to the FBI. And that's why these wild claims and unsubstantiated allegations have made people on social media to conclude that T.D. Jakes is gay and he could be Diddy's bitch, you know. And that's why he's trending. That is the story.
Anything, this is allegedly. Ain't nobody gonna catch me slipping, okay? Okay. So allegedly, Cassie has turned over evidence to the feds. Yes, to the feds. She has turned over videotapes, a USB drive, and Kim Porter's burner phone. Now, there is also an alleged email out saying a plethora of other things that include TD Jakes with Diddy. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. I'm not finna say nothing else.
Says here, yo bro, Cassie has turned over substantial amounts of evidence to the feds. I'm told that after Cassie had a long conversation with Blank, I have to protect this person. They're going through a lot right now. And her lawyers, she finally was convinced to give up the videotapes and audio recordings that contain footage of S parties and other private gatherings that feature some pretty powerful and prominent people. I'm also told that multiple male escorts corroborated the fact that TD Jakes have slept with multiple men at Diddy's parties and abroad, and they refer to him as being a power bottom. Wow. It's also been said that a young male has acquired a lawyer to represent him as he is set to sue Jakes for an incident that took place when he was just years old. It's been said that the young man was forced to perform sloppy toppy, and I'm paraphrasing here, guys. You can actually put two and two together to understand what I'm trying to say. It's been said that the man's family were members of the Potter's house but left the church in 2015. According to multiple church insiders, the parents were paid off to keep quiet. The guy's a grown man now and is seeking his own justice. It's been said that the young man doesn't even deal with his parents even to this day because they took hush money. According to Pastor Blank, and I have to protect this pastor, Bishop Jakes is about to get railroaded and all of his dirt will be exposed. That's why the bishop has quietly lawyered up. He sees his fall from grace coming.
I mean, do you really need to even say anything about that? Because again, his allegations is wild. To be a pastor, his allegations are pretty wild and pretty disturbing. And we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
So I could see where, this could agitate someone, and I think that's basically what happened.
A man shot while preaching on a street corner in Glendale, and tonight police are looking for leads in this case as that man fights for his life.
The shooting happened on the northwest corner of 51st Avenue in Peoria last night outside the Victory Chapel First Phoenix. That's the church that the victim attends.
And officers evacuated several businesses in that complex. Fox 10's Lindsay Regas spoke to the owner of a nearby store about what happened. Lindsay.
Mark and Ellen, this happened around 6 p.m. last night. Now, businesses in that area, they all got a knock on their door from police telling them they need to leave immediately, including the owner of a comic book store.
This is the Just Imagine series. Hold on one second.
The owner of Just...
This guy being shot, while preaching is sad. It shows how people's hearts are, and even going back to the TD Jakes thing, it just shows where his heart is. It's unfortunate that you can't even preach the word without people harassing you. It's a shame. And in order to get past this, we have to stay prayed up. And we have to keep encouraging the people that's doing these works to continue to do. Because if we don't encourage these people, we're going to lose them to the fight. You don't want to lose these people to the fight. You don't want to lose that, because a lot of these people that's behind the scenes or looking abroad don't want to join in the fight. They want somebody to fight for them, and that's the wrong position. But we have to fight for these people, unfortunately. And people like TD Jakes and Tyler Perry and all these entertainers, these gospel entertainers, what have they done? What have they done? Are they really mission-minded? Are they? Can we really trust these people in leadership to help us go to the promised land? Can we really do that? Can we honestly say that? I don't know if we can. And it's a shame that we have to continually go through these periods where we lift people up and then come to find out they're really down here. And we was good without them, or without even acknowledging them. What they have, we can get too. What I have, you can have. What you have, I can have. Goes both ways. One hand wash the other. We all have different gifts in the word. It's going to come a time that, which is now unraveling now, that you're going to see the wheat and the tare being separate. You're going to see who's Christian. You're going to see absolutely who's Christian, who's a follower of Christ, and you're going to absolutely want to see who's a follower of Satan or another demonic entity. You're just going to see it. There's no way around it. But in the meantime, in between time, stay in the word. Stay with the word. Stay with the Lord. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. I think I'm ending it off with this. We got plenty more videos to go past, and I think I'm gonna continue doing these type of videos, and hopefully you like it. I'm gonna get better at it. Got different backgrounds, whatever. But it's not about the entertainment, it's about the message. Gotta be mission minded. This is part 1. This is 316. God bless you all. I'm gone.